Hi, Bridget. So we're going to take a look at your 3 posters in comparison to the checklist that was provided at the previous step of this assignment. And so I have the checklist here, and I want to go through each section. So the first thing we'll look at is that is type consistent across all 3 posters, and does it carry the message in simple phrasing? So yes, that is simple phrasing. That appears to be the same typeface. Yes. So the type is consistent across all 3, and it does use simple messaging. So that's good. Okay, color palette. So this one has like violet and green and red and blues. I'd say it's similar. And this one's something kind of different. You want to make the 3 posters appear to have the same color scheme, and the color scheme should be pretty simplified. Let's look at your reference images. I'm going to take these 3 up to the top. Okay, so if we look at these, the constructivist poster is going to be the most complex because Shepard Fairey really simplifies based on constructivism. So we have this one here. It has maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. This one has 3. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5. I would really pare it down. I think that, let me look at your images again. I think you should limit the colors to maybe 3 or 4. Let's see. So this needs more work. You do definitely use those colors, but again, I would simplify them. So the focal point, when I look at yours, I think the focal point needs to be a little bit, it needs a lot of work. So these 3 images here are very small. They're very hard to read. Cut them out. I see. Okay. They need to be very large in the composition. It doesn't have to be 3. It should maybe be 1. Again, if we're looking at your Shepard Fairey images, like there's one very large image of a person. And then this Shepard Fairey image, again, one very large striking image with small type around it. This one's a more complex composition. You know, there's basically two shapes, but she's the focal point looking out of a window. This has too many small things, so the relationship of the hierarchy of the information is not correct. It should be a really, really large hero image with the words, you know, carefully and intentionally designed around it. This one gets close, but the words are way up here, and they don't feel like they're connecting with the image. Okay, let's get on to the next. So I think that this needs work. This needs work. Modified significantly and consistently using filters. Okay, so that's what needs to be consistent. This reads as a generated image, an AI-generated image. It doesn't have any filters on it, so it doesn't appear to be Shepard Fairey-like. These hero images here, the paintbrush and the person, they're very small in the composition, and they don't appear to have consistent brushstrokes or filters. And these, again, the consistency across all 3 is going to be a really big thing for you to hone in on and focus in on, so that you really can see, you know, something inspired by what was simple, simple, simple. One hero image, very large, small type, and make sure that you're using the same filters across all 3 of the hero images for each poster. So for this one, maybe it's one flower. For this one, maybe it's just a dove that has been modified. And then for this one, maybe it's the person. I understand the purpose of putting in the brush stroke, but let's focus on one shape first. And then if we have to put the brush back in, maybe we can. So this needs work. So definitely the focal point section of the checklist needs a lot of work. Middle ground, patterning from simple shapes such as lines that demonstrates the ability to create a pattern that conforms to a shape. This is not conforming to a shape. These are just stripes. So that skill set from the video tutorials from the posters is not in here. We don't have the clipping mask. I don't see it in this one at all. And I don't see it in this one. So that. Generative fill. Guessing that's a screenshot. Yes, this is probably generative fill. That's generative fill. Flowers maybe is generative fill. Yes, so generative fill is there. I think that it can be, rather than using it as objects, generative fill as background works really well because I want you to really focus in on finding your hero images as photographs from a web source that have been modified and significantly manipulated, and then the generative fill used as kind of background stuff. We don't want to use generative fill in the foreground.